There's an eye winking at me.
There's an eye, that's right. That's the light telling you we're recording you. Let's start with today's date. What's today's date? Today is July what?
Today is July the 15th or 16th? I will look it up in my little book.
The same book that you've been carrying with you for since...
Without which I don't know my first name.
Mm-hmm.
Today is Thursday, July the 14th, 2005.
2005. The last time we were here, I was videotaping Mom, which was last year, and now you get the good fortune of being videotaped.
Oh, I'm so thrilled.
I know that you are, and I'll make you a copy. Okay, so I have a series of questions here, and you'll answer. For the record, why don't you give us your name in the video testimony?
My name is Jose... No.
Jose Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Jose Jimenez. No. What's your name?
My name is Max Frankel.
And your Jewish name?
Esquire.
Esquire. You're an attorney now.
Yes.
And what's your Jewish name?
My Jewish name is Meir ben Isak Frankel.
Okay. And where were you born?
In bed.
Yeah, you might have been. That's probably true. You were delivered probably in your home, yeah?
That's correct.
Okay. And where would that have been?
That would have been at 39 Forststrasse, Vienna, Austria.
Vienna, Austria. That's right. What floor was your apartment?
The first floor.
First floor. How many bedrooms were in that apartment?
What bedrooms?
Ah, that's correct. There were 2 rooms in that apartment.
There was a kitchen and there was an all-purpose room.
And yeah, that was. We'll talk more about your apartment a little bit later on. What's the date of your birth?
January 17th. In the good year 1928.
And how old were you when you were born?
I was born the day that my mother had me.
Excellent. Good to know. Do you know what time it was?
It was a good time.
Good time. And do you know who might have delivered you?
The stork?
I'm thinking no. Would have been of a doctor or a
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe a midwife.
Midwife? Okay.
Maybe a half-wife, I don't know.
Were you a healthy baby when you were born, do you know?
Oh, I was so healthy, I went out jogging.
I'm thinking that that's an exaggeration, but you weren't sick when you were born.
I was not sick when I was born.
Okay.
My parents were sick of me when I was born.
I'm sure they were quite tired. And do you know how much you weighed when you were born? Not a clue.
No.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
Okay. What were your parents' names?
My parents' names were Isak, Isaac, you take your choice, Korn, Frankel, and my mother's name was Branche Golda. Frankel, Korn, you name it.
Okay. And you were the 5th of your family that was born, yes?
I was the last of the Mohicans.
You were the baby. What were your siblings' names?
My siblings' names
The oldest?
were my sister Amalia, better known as Malchi, and today sporting the name of Marlene.
Or Molly?
Or Molly.
Okay.
Right?
What year was she born, do you know?
She was born in 1919.
What's her birthday, do you know?
It's in September. I will look it up. I have all the birthdays recorded. Recorded here. Alright, let's see. My sister's birthday was September 27th, 1919.
So she was the firstborn.
She was the firstborn.
She was born where?
Vienna.
She was born in Vienna.
You were all born in Vienna.
All born in Vienna, okay. And the next born?
Next born was Ephraim, better known as BB. And he was born... You ask me these difficult questions.
It gets harder from here.
He was born on April the 10th of 1921, and unfortunately was nifter on November the 26th of 1939.
And the third born?
The third one was Leon, Yehuda Leib, Aryeh Leib, Label. And he was born...
They didn't have much monetarily, but they had a lot of names back then.
He was born on May the 10th, 1923.
He also has recently passed away.
And he unfortunately passed away on the day after the big calamity in New York.
September 12th?
September the 12th, 2001.
Look at that. And the fourth born?
The fourth born was my good brother Tzvi Hill, Hesh, Herman.
Herman. And he lives where?
Herman. He now lives in Givatayim,
That's Israel.
but he was born in Vienna. And the date was what was later to become tax day in America, March 15th, 1925.
Okay. And we were so when you were born. Was there anything that you know that was special about the circumstances of your birth?
That my grandmother died 3 days before I was born.
And you were named for her, yes?
I was named for her.
What was her name?
Her name was Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
By some strange coincidence, my granddaughter's named after her too.
Not a coincidence.
No coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
No.
Did she live with your parents as well?
No, my parents lived with her.
Ah, okay.
She came to Vienna first, and then when my father came back from Russia and married my mother, they moved in with her in Vienna.
Let's talk about this for a minute. Okay.
She was not the easiest person to live with, I understand. They had a hard time living together.
So wait a minute. So your parents, your grandparents were from where? Your father's parents and your mother's parents.
My father was born in Chodorov, which was in Poland. Not knowing the geography or the geopolitics of the area, I'm not sure that's was later Russia in Poland or German Poland or just Poland. My mother was born in a small village, I guess, called Streliske, which was near the largest city of Lemberg, now known as Lvov.
Mm-hmm. And how did they meet?
How did they meet?
Do you know?
They're probably introduced. I have no idea.
Do you know how old they were when they got engaged?
No. Well, I guess they got engaged before the First World War broke out, and that broke out in 1914. And they were born in 1884. So it's about right. It was been about 20 years old.
Okay. So they get engaged. Then what happens?
World War breaks out.
Okay. And what happens then to them?
What happens is that the Russians invaded from one side and the Germans invaded from the other side. And the Russians grabbed off the part of Poland where my parents lived, and they dragged the males off into Russia.
Conscripted.
Or as hostages, whatever have you. So my father
and his father
mm-hmm. were dragged off. He was then a young man and his probably
20s.
around 20 years old.
That's your father. How old would his father have been? Who knows?
I don't know. 20, 30 years old. Okay. Who knows? I don't know. Does my father think was the oldest of his children?
Okay.
So since they had children fairly early in those days,
who knows? They might have been in their 40s.
Probably something like that. My grandfather never survived the trip. I imagine they didn't go in railroad coaches.
Right.
They walked. Right? And I don't know what the state of his health was, but
not an old man though.
No, but forced marches are not easy on people who are not used to strenuous exercise.
For sure. So that was your father with his father.
So he never came back.
But your father did.
My father did.
And when he came back to Vienna, then what?
When he came back to Poland.
Excuse me, to Poland.
He got married.
So they got married in Poland.
In Poland.
In Chodorov.
I don't know where in Chodorov, in Lemberg, wherever, I don't know where.
Okay.
But he got married in Poland, and then in the meantime, his mother had moved to Vienna. She lost her husband. There was nothing for her left there then. And remember that at that time, Poland was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So she was an Austrian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she moved to the capital city.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And imagine the area where she moved to, there was a whole called colony or group of Jews from Poland who had settled there. So she was in a milieu that was familiar to her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then my parents...
before you get to your parents, your father, though, had sisters.
My father had three
sisters.
sisters.
Had they already? Where were they at this point in time?
I don't know.
Because they ended up in America at some point.
They may have already. Now, my aunt Hensche went to Vienna, lived there, and she married Isak Gottesman.
Would she have been there first?
I don't know if they married before they moved to Vienna or after. Where she met, I have no idea.
Okay, so that was Hensche.
But that was Hensche. Lena and Dora immigrated to the United States. I would assume all this must have happened within a few years of each other.
Okay, so the chronology we're not sure of, but that's where they ended up. All right, so now your grandmother, your grandfather's wife, your grandmother, is now in Vienna. Mm-hmm. Your parents are engaged. Excuse me, are married in Poland. They're married in Poland. Then what happens?
And then they decide. I guess there was nothing for them in Poland, and so they moved into Vienna with them. I don't know if my grandmother invited them, urged them, whatever, but that's where they moved. Okay. And
so newlyweds living with the mother-in-law,
right? And
in that same apartment, the two-room apartment. That's her apartment.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I wasn't there.
That's true.
But what I'm told is that my mother and her mother-in-law were not on the happiest of terms. And it's understandable. Two women in the kitchen, and what a little kitchen.
Right, tiny, and a growing family.
A growing family.
Very tight quarters for a
well, a year after they moved there, my sister was born.
And your mother, and then your grandmother passed away, as you were saying, 3 days before you were born, and then you were named for her. I visited her grave in Vienna.
I'm told that my father told him, well, when it comes to say V'ikar Shemo B'Yisrael, say Menachem Mendel.
And had he said Menachem Mendel, who would you have been named for?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't see.
I'm not sure.
I didn't see any Menachem Mendels in the family tree.
I'm not sure, but that's what I was told. When it came time, the Mayor said V'ikar Shemo B'Yisrael, Meir.
Meir.
Well, once the name is given, it's given, right?
But the question was, I don't know, did the Moyle have in mind Miriam when he named you Meir?
I have no idea. Afterwards, my father supposedly asked him, well, what's the big idea? He said, look at this little nothing here. You're going to sell him that bigger name.
And Meir it was.